Hey, Christina. This is probably the one you're dreading the most because I know where all the skeletons are buried. And that's very easy because we've known each other since we were 0. Our moms were pregnant together in the pool at Meadowood. And Christina likes to tell the story that they were sorority sisters together, which would probably explain all of the trouble that we get into. So let's go with that. But the real story starts in Paris. Mention Exhibit A, this t shirt that I'm wearing. Christina's right here. And here's the rest of the photographic evidence. Sorry, Turley. We hadn't seen each other for a couple of years when we got to Paris, but we were instant best friends again. We bonded on Ivy League cruises on the Seine, and that was before I broke out in hives from the bedbugs I caught at Christina's apartment. We shared a penchant for questionable nightclub outfits. Look at her in that chinoiserie coat with the purple trim, and my affliction for graphic tees under blazers. We shared a love of the best of Parisian food, from fine dining to La du Falafel. We went to so many Fashion Week parties it's hard to remember them all, including an infamous night at an Alexander McQueen party hosted by Kate Moss, in which the entire floor of Maxime's had been covered in rose petals and Dom Perignon was the only drink of the night. This party required us to fabricate our invitations to secure entry, and this was only the beginning of our nightclub antics. We created our own cocktails, midnight-teenies, which were champagne, vodka, and white cranberry juice for those interested. We loved posing for absurd photos, whether it was on the metro or in nightclubs where we pretended to be the Kennedys. There were a lot of high kicks. Our most infamous night in Paris happened on Halloween. Now, Parisians don't really celebrate Halloween, but we were with a pack of rabid Americans determined to celebrate no matter what. Christina had the intellectual and meta costume idea to go as Eurotrash, which consisted of a trash bag which she belted with a Gucci belt and accessorized with various shopping bags from places like H&M, Zara, and Printemps. I went as a New York socialite, a costume which was far less successful. Our first stop was an American sports bar with a bunch of costumed revelers, but we quickly got tired at that place and headed to Le Baron, one of Paris' most exclusive nightclubs, which became our second home in the evenings from midnight until 4 a.m. When we arrived at the door, the bouncer with whom we'd become friends suddenly looked as if he had never seen us before, as he gave us the once-over, staring at Christina's trash bag dress and my Madras board shorts and flip-flops. We begged him to let us in, and finally he did. Once inside, we got death stares from nearly all of the Parisians, none of whom had dressed up. But then, as if it was wont to happen, our luck changed when Yoji Yamamoto, the Japanese fashion designer, showed up dressed as Little Bo Peep with an entourage in equally colorful costumes. Suddenly, we were belles of the ball, and our costumes were being pillaged by the Parisians trying desperately to fashion costumes of their own. New York was the next chapter of our time spent together. I moved to New York following college, and having Christina there was like having the best Zagat guy the city could offer. She knew all the best restaurants, bars, and could always be counted on to paint the town red. We went to parties with people like Madonna and Paris Hilton. We became regulars at Bungalow 8 after we pretended to be a duo consisting of a model agent from Trump Models, me, and Christina, who was my newest model. One night, Christina really took one for the team when there was a throng of about 100 people outside Bungalow 8 and it seemed impossible to get in. The doorman, Armin, looked at Christina, and just as we thought he was going to open the velvet rope for us, he opened his hand instead and offered Christina a half-melted Kit Kat bar, which she without flinching accepted and ate. The velvet ropes parted and we were in. But even more fun than the celebrities or the champagne was the late nights after we left Bungalow 8, which we spent laughing over food at Florent or at our respective apartments. When we were at Christina's infamous West Village studio, the size of a closet, I would jokingly terrify her that I could hear the ghost of the drag queen who had been killed in the apartment before her friend Virginia had taken over the lease. This may be the reason why Christina can do a spot-on drag queen impression on command. Christina and I share a special affinity for all celebrations, birthdays, and holidays alike, as you may have noticed. And over the past couple of years, despite living in different cities, we've become even closer as friends. We've managed to spend the past 3 New Year's Eve together, and always it has been nothing short of epic. The common thread is always great friends, great champagne, and lots of caviar. 3 years ago at Rattlesnake Ridge, we were savoring champagne and rattlesnake heads alike. or Los Angeles 2 years ago, posing on cars, air guitaring in the kitchen, or blind tasting what seemed like hundreds of bottles of champagne. This past year, we were on a remote island off the coast of Florida, North Captiva, where we still managed to drink too much champagne and eat lots of caviar despite being completely disconnected from the outside world. Christina has a special affinity for late night creme fraiche, as you can see. Tonight will undoubtedly create its own memories while continuing our illustrious traditions, and I couldn't be happier to be here. So happy birthday, Christina, and thank you for being an incredible friend, a loyal confidant, and most importantly, for your impeccable taste in champagne.